Howdys and salutations, y'all. Let me resize this real quick and then we'll just jump right in. Another week of our Elden Ring stickers. Should be a fun time. We're taking on a more complicated one, although honestly, sometimes those turn out to be easier. Sometimes not. Sometimes they do, sometimes not. Okay, so looking at it, we've done 4 different types of eyes. Good news is today we probably will not do a fifth. But actually, both of the possible ideas I had for today wouldn't have been an issue. Um, Interesting. Actually, there's a lot of characters where that'd be less of a problem. Okay. Besides the point, we do still need to sort out the eyes, and I am most happy with Roderica, although I think smoothing out the circle and maybe working on the color for the border would be worth doing. See if we want to continue it all the way down. But one way or the other, I think that Roderica is looking like a pretty cute sticker. I think the others with the proper eyes will follow suit. And I want to keep that same energy going for Rogier or Rogier or Rogier. Rogier. I know that I'm fully aware that most of those are wrong. But yeah, that's what we're just gonna keep on keeping on. I do apologize if I'm a little. This is a different kind of tired. This is a good kind of tired. Um, I went to an arcade and completely wore myself out on DDR. Um, it is a game I should not be allowed near because I have no restraint with it, and I'm not nearly good enough at it for that to be good. Um, but it's fun, and it's been a couple years since I've gotten to do it, so that was actually quite a blast. Okay, hey, we remember what happened there. If I press the wrong button, we get a full screen view of these. So once again, I have from the Elden Ring wiki, or one of them. There's always a million, or usually at least 3 if you're going by Dark Souls, with varying degrees of usefulness and accuracy. Um, but you can see we've pulled the original concept art as well as the most non-spoilery image of him I could find. Hey, Cerebri, how are you? Thanks for dropping by. I still need to sort out some character eyes. I think we finally got some that'll work. I just need to edit the old ones. Maybe put some of this stuff away. But yeah, how have you been? Oh yeah, hey. Let's see. We can leave Roderica as a reference. I'll select the correct layer though. There we go. Roderica. Yeah, well, yeah, no, we're keeping on with the Elden Ring stickers this month. Probably gonna, well, depending on figuring out timing on the stickers and some other stuff. I do want to get back into doing some more 3D modeling. There's something to be said for taking a short break from it because it lets sort of the ideas stew around a bit. I've got a lot of ideas for where to go to tweak and refine and improve, and some tutorials I need to check up on in order to work towards some other pieces. But I think the gate's got room to improve, and there's room for some other stuff. So we're definitely getting back to that one. But for now, we're just plugging on with these. Today we're going to do Rogier, or I think that's how you say it. Oh yeah. There's just a whole slew of them. Elden Ring has a million characters, and you can play the entire game and completely miss most of them. It's a weird game. Oh right, it really is not a person technically. Am I missing someone, or have we only actually done 4 people? I guess we've only done 4 people. Just sworn we did 5. But no, that adds up. Okay, but yeah, no, just Elden Ring it's very much all over the place. I've never been the I guess hardcore or whatever you want to call it enough gamer to really be like the uber Dark Souls get good type, but I enjoy the worlds, and so I enjoy just sort of like exploring around, more like a chronicler than a hero. They're very pretty. Got a lot going on. And Elden Ring, of course, is absolutely gorgeous. It has its jank like any big open world game does, but it has been a lovely place to explore. Yeah, I've definitely I have noticed in those games that the thing that gets me to stop playing is less Overwhelming difficulty and more if I get to a really drab and boring part of it, which is silly. But like, truthfully, I can get through a boring part. But if it's boring and really hard, I'm like, okay, whatever. Stinking Irithyll of the Boreal Valley from Dark Souls 3. I like snowy areas, but it is all just the same blue-gray color, and the enemies suck. Uh, pardon my language. It's just a nasty bit of business. They took what was going to be the region boss and just made them like a normal enemy around. Super, super full of death. To be able to do. All right, I got to adjust and then adjust and the good old reference images. We'll get Rogier going in here and maybe fix this. But yeah, and I mean, I can't introduce you to the characters all that well. They're like, I just realized that her eye is transparent. Uh-oh. I mean, you're trying to describe these guys. Oh, I guess you probably could. Mage who wanted to attend a prestigious university but was not allowed in. Traveling merchant, dresses vaguely like Santa Claus. People really like him. Uh, Roderica, I believe, was exiled from her land at some point and travels with the spirit of a jellyfish. I, I don't have a better explanation for what's going on there than that. And then Millicent, who is dying of a horrible plague and missing an arm, and you find her like slumped up against a wall and slowly can help her recover, sort of. And then like she goes on a quest to, I don't know, meet her sisters and or mother. It's unclear. Um, things don't always go great in Elden Ring for most people, actually, but sometimes they go good or well. I there's a ton of characters I could like. It's a world. It feels so vast and like devoid of people, and yet there are a ton of characters around. They're just sort of all doing their own thing. You're never going to find much of like a town full of people to talk to. I guess there's Round Table Hold, but most of them are unpleasant to talk to and kind of off-putting, to say the least. Let's see. Trying to think of one that'd be a good starting point just to have as reference. I guess we could yeah, we can go ahead and use the original one. This one's Kale. But yeah, no, it's just it is a funky little game. Well, it's not a little game, but it's a funky game. I've had a surprisingly good time with it. I like my favorite in the series is Dark Souls 1, and that's not some like it. Don't get me wrong, it has its jank, and it looks more than a bit crunchy these days, but it's still like the sheer variety of options you had when playing that were all viable was really set it apart from most of the others. Elden Ring has gotten into a similar boat where you can kind of take whatever you can scrounge up or whatever you want to do, if it's like magic or different kinds of magic or like short range weapons, long range two-handed, or just like summoning other people and supporting them. Like there's a million different ways and they all just kind of work. Um, at least until the end game when stuff starts to get a little dicey. And even then, most of them are still viable in Elden Ring. It's oh right, pencil for this one. And what we're using about 20, 30 for that. Okay, it's fine. There we go. But yeah, it's I don't know. It has been a charming game. Very very good at spectacle, but in the way where it also feels like you're. It's not just distant spectacle, like whoa, look at that view. It's like whoa, I'm gonna go over there and actually wander around in that giant castle, and it is going to feel giant because it stinking is for some reason. I will say, while I don't dislike it, they spend their time in the game. Where they put their energy in that game baffles me sometimes. Um, like in Dark Souls 1, one of the four, like after a certain point, it branches into sort of four directions you can follow and you got to go down each of them, but you can choose the order and such, and that's helpful for different things. And you're basically chasing down to find the final boss of each area. They're long treks. One of them is like flagrantly unfinished, and they've admitted as much, and the boss is just a garbage fire. And I don't mean that like as an opinion. I mean it is flaming and also a terrible boss. And basically just a pile of wood. It's bad. um, but all right, I won't. There we go. Or set this at like 4 maybe. A little tweaking. Yeah. These vector tools are nice. Um, but like that whole area, like it's clear that one of the 4 routes, like the end game grand sort of finale building routes, is just straight up unfinished. However, there is an area where if you go through one of the most hated areas of the game and happen to find not just one secret, but then a second secret inside of the first one, and then fight through another area, you can find one of the grandest spectacles the game has to offer. And it's like not mentioned in the story. You never have to go there. There's an NPC plotline that ends there, and I don't stinking know how anyone's supposed to figure that out. Like, I don't know. They're more than happy to just throw stuff in the game and be like, "Yeah, people will figure it. We'll find it, eventually." Like Elden Ring has bosses that I I don't think anyone on Earth would just naturally run into them. Like you've got to be hunting for secrets and like running your face into walls trying to find illusory ones and looking for levers and trying to talk to random bushes and like I don't know. It's there's a certain charm to the fact that like to play the game like you're fine not like you're not missing that anything important if you don't do these things, but it's got all these weird little hidden bonuses that they're just like, oh yeah, if you happen to go this way you'll run into something just wild. It's it's an interesting design philosophy because Elden Ring 5 games later and 10 years at least has exactly the same problems Dark Souls 1 did. It's got an end area that is very clearly like rough and kind of thrown together. It's not necessarily unfinished, but it's unpolished very much. Um, but it has these secret bonus areas where you're like, whoa, that are grand and spectacular and completely optional. And you're like, well, okay, I guess that's a thing. Like whole sections where you'd have to think to like jump off of a cliff and land on a rooftop below. That thinking, I don't know how anyone noticed. So yeah, they're better at hinting at the secrets and stuff in Elden Ring than they were in Dark Souls 1, but it's just kind of a funky design philosophy. I don't hate it. It gives the world a lot more character. It does because it's not just like okay, the world exists for my quest. Um, I do things on the quest and run into things in the world. It's like no, the world exists regardless of your being in it. And it's just sort of doing its thing, and you're welcome to poke your nose into anyone's business if you really want to. You probably shouldn't. Most of the people will kill you, but you can. And some of them are friendly, like some of these folks, and some of them are hostile, like potentially some of these folks if you tick them off. I'm curious because one of them has like a lot of bloodstains on the ground around him, and I don't know if there's like a boss you can run into because I'm finished that NPC story. Like I don't think there should be any incident unless people are trying to kill him and he's really formidable, which is not what I would have guessed. So it's cracking me up if people are like if there's like a speed run where you have to kill him or something and like people are going in soul level 1 and just absolutely getting destroyed, which is I don't know. It just seems so silly because you don't even have to fight him. He's very friendly. It's just like, oh, I guess you can, and if you choose to, you'll regret it. But it's an option. Elden Ring is, and all these FromSoft games are pretty happy to let you screw up. Like they won't. Well, I mean, I guess you can lock yourself out of certain endings, but like it's not ever going to make the game unwinnable. It's not like an arcade game that's trying to, you know, make you lose all of your funds with cheap shots and such. Wow, these legs are proper dreadful. Like really, really, wow. Okay, let's get a. I'm gonna ignore the model a little bit and try to just actually draw halfway decent. Let's give this another go. That was a poor showing. Um, but yeah, I mean NPC quests, you can totally miss them. People can just, or like the character can just straight up die while fighting someone else. Like not another player, but just like in the story, like if you don't intervene and save them, it's like, oh, cool. In fact, all their games have at least one NPC that if you invite them to the spawn area. Actually, I don't know if Elden Ring does. Probably. I probably just haven't invited them or haven't noticed yet. But most of them have NPCs that are more than happy to you know kill every other NPC in your that you've brought back to the hub, or start assassinating other characters. And you're just like, whoa, man, hold your horses. It sounds like Demon Souls had the meanest of the bunch, which is wild. Because the one in Dark Souls does not pull punches. I mean, I guess he technically only murders one NPC, but it's a really stinking important one. Really can throw a wrench in things. What's this boot-looking foot? Let's temper that a little bit, shall we? Don't need like a high heel. Actually, I don't know much about Rogier's boots. Oh, oh, that's right. Okay, we'll have some fun with that. Those are stinking wild. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a charming game series, truthfully. Charming if you, it's definitely one where if you want to actually play it, you've just got to go in and be like, "Yep, I'm going to die a bunch of times," but that's not losing. That's progress in its own way in those games. Um, like you're not set back that badly most of the time, and like I don't know. For as much emphasis as the game series puts on it, you died isn't really like a bad thing. It's not. It's like yeah, it's more of a setback than in some games, sure. And a lot of people like to get all elitist and snobbish about it, but like, yeah, not really that big of a deal. It's a tough game, but it's a doable game. Like, I'm very much a casual gamer. Um, I don't go and play Halo Skulls modes or anything like that. I don't really do speed runs. The my favorite game before this was, or before Dark Souls, was either Minecraft or like Spore Galactic Adventure. Those are not hardcore games. Or My Sims. Yeah, Dark Souls is not some like special thing where you need a certain amount of gamer cred to play. And I think people are finally figuring that out with Elden Ring. The community's gotten big enough, especially after Dark Souls 3 and some of the other ones, that it's not just kind of elitist snobs. It's people who are like, oh yeah, this is kind of fun. I'm just gonna we'll, we'll adapt once we get to the actual leg because I don't know what's going on with these today. Yeah, I do apologize if I'm a little tired and winded. I actually went to an arcade today, which was a good time. Took the day off work to spend time with my brother, since he's around, and yeah, it was a good time. But I spent too much time on the Dance Dance Revolution machines, and I cannot be trusted with the Dance Dance Revolution machines. I'm not even that good at it. I just don't stop. It wasn't busy, so I wasn't like blocking other people from playing. Obviously, if there's a line, I will stop after a round. But it'll be a start. Well, once we get more details in there, we can actually like adjust this better. That's fine. Just need to move on to the lines. Um, and which ones shall we do first? Rogier has a lot going on with his design. A lot going on with his design. You know what? Let's do the baggy pants first because they're kind of under everything. Well, I mean, there's the cloak back there, but we'll do the baggy pants. Um, in both of these, it looks like we're looking at just khakis. um, so we'll go with our darker beigey tone for that. Okay. Or I guess, yeah, we'll do the darker beigey tone for this one because we've got a good gold trim for that. We've got a good brown for that. We'll probably have to do a different green. I don't think Roderica's eyes are going to be a good fit. That's not the worst color, but you know they're kind of a bold one even by her stickers standards. Really pop. Part of that's the size. Gonna have to keep tweaking those eyes. But first off, last thing. There we go. That'll do for now. Yeah. Okay. Um. Just yeah. All this lines. I'm gonna go ahead and get my folders and such sorted out now, so I don't have to worry about that later. I want lines to go inside of the Rogier folder. We'll get the khakis. We'll get up to the 10 line weight because I think that's what we've been doing. A little hard to tell. Been resizing stuff a little bit. I know with faces I also play a little fast and loose, but I think that's reasonable. Oh yeah, we don't need this one. And let's work on these pants. They really only need to go to the knee, so there's not like a lot going on with them. But they've got kind of wrinkles, so I want to make sure that we're accounting for that in the silhouette. I don't need to do anything crazy on these really. We'll start with that. I'm really going to keep the pants super simple. I just want to keep them on their own layer for layering purposes, that they don't end up in front or behind something else they shouldn't. Because the boots, the boots are something special. And by that I mean they're stinking crazy, but they should be fun. We'll borrow Thop's beard color. I'm curious why there were so many bloodstains around Thops. Like, I really don't know. Hey, why would you fight Thops? He's super friendly. And I don't think I don't think he even drops anything useful in the game. So I can't imagine that's what people are, well, okay, I can't imagine that's what people are doing. When people play the genocide route in Undertale, people will do whatever. But like, it's weird that he's a, if he's the thing killing them, he's apparently quite tough. Which is, you know, not what I would have guessed, truthfully. Doesn't exactly come across as the type. These boots, these are great. I'll stick with that for now. I'm just getting roughs in here. We're trying to keep it simple, but I will come back and add some detail because he's got plenty of detail. Trust me, he's got plenty of detail. Rogier, why? Let's see. Honestly, I'm thinking the gold tunic is really the next one to go for here. Where did it put that? Why am I down here? I must have just clicked the bottom layer instead of creating new layer. Oh well. But yeah, gonna have to clarify on this one. There's so many layers to his outfit. What is this? Why? I don't know if that's based on like actual historical attire. It wouldn't shock me, truthfully. Same gold. I don't know why I went all the way to Roderica for it. Um, how much of this is even going to be? Well, okay, the baggy shoulders, definitely. We really got to lean into those. Because they're just grand. Oh, right, no, they really need to bag up more down here, like at the actual elbow. And honestly, like, well, I guess Millicent and Kali. I haven't exactly been drawing the most popular Elden Ring characters. Like, you may notice, like, some famous ones, like, I don't know, Melina and Ronnie, or any of the bosses that people just like adore, like Radon and Millennia. Like, none of them are here. um, it's like Thops and like, okay, people like Roderica and people like Rogier, but like these are not like the main crew. Okay, looking at this from a distance, I got some sleevage to fix. Sleeving. Got sleeve to fix. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there'll definitely be like contour lines and stuff, but we're gonna deal with a lot of that once we get to the detail layer. I'm really just blocking in right now. And this needs to be rather. I mean, honestly, even the flare is barely gonna be visible. Like that's kind of it. I mean, it's fine. Well, okay, I guess. I don't know, hold on. On the on the khakis layer, there should be a line there, I think. I don't know if it adds much. We'll figure that one out later if we want to keep it. Let's see. Okay, and then not a tunic, but it's probably the best word so that I can find it. Find it. Tunic brown. We'll just do that. And next layer. Whoops. Don't need stray lines. Need this though. This one's probably going to be more important for actually shaping things in terms of like pose and such. It's going to be on the outside over here for the most part. Gonna want the gold so we can tell it apart from the boot. Although I guess, okay, we've got some of the green and we've got some trim options, so there'll be ways. Hold on, oh yeah, we'll have some gold down here. Cool, right next to the gold sleeve. Just what I wanted. It's gonna cause stuff to blur together, but that's okay. I guess from this angle, this would be a little more like that. Yeah, okay. Gotta save, don't want to forget to do that. Okay, and then, I mean, it's gonna have another gold layer on top of that. Um, which really ought to be mapped onto the brown one, and we may have to do it at another point. Because well, no, I guess it is on top of the brown. There's a lot going on with this. Rogier, why you gotta be this way? I mean, the brown layer needs to actually continue up a little bit more all the way up here. It's gonna be this gilding layer that's, well, I guess shouldn't be mapped to it, because I need to be able to draw it in places where the brown isn't. We'll just do that. soften the curve a little bit. Oops. There we go. That'll continue up and also be a nice bit of border. Want the lighter gray for any border. Not exactly ideal. So we kind of want buttons down here. I'll just imply, makes them look like a cupboard. Thinking wild, Rogier. Next up, oh, this is one where I'm gonna have to probably actually find like, well, we'll test it with this color, but I think we're gonna need a new one because this is definitely like an accent color, not a main color, and it may be a little too much. We'll try it. Um, sure, seafoam. I don't know. It's somewhere between blue and green in this one. It's not quite like a turquoise or teal. It's very much just a thing. Oh boy, Rochier. Like a band, and then like kind of flares off. I think this is gonna be way too much in this tone. I can already tell. Might be too much in most any tone, truthfully. We'll tweak that as we go. Got a few other things too. We've got the gloves. I guess really the same color as the pants. That's great. They definitely belong below all the tunic nonsense. Um, Rare for me to have two colors on one, but I do think they're gonna need the same gemstone color. This greenish tone that matches. Actually, the boots probably do too, now that I think about it. Yep. I'll have to do like a boot details layer, but till then, just do like a little boop, boop. Hey, hey, Rochier. Okay, and then that almost looks like it's more gilded, but I think we'll actually lean into the pants color for it. For this little, like, I'm gonna call it collar. I know it's his cape. We'll call it the cape. Looking at this reference, you can see that he actually had a longer. Oh no, he's actually wearing it. You can see it. It's just the same color as the background. Like, it's okay. It's blending into the bricks, but it's visible there. Here, like along this line. Almost missed that. We can't have that, can we? This is going to end up covering a lot more in this particular angle, but that's okay. That's really okay. If anything, it's kind of needed. Honestly, I should do this upper one in the lighter color. For one primary reason. And it'll contrast against everything else if we continue it downwards. We'll see if we want to. I'm just throwing in a placeholder there. It's not the right shape or anything. Wouldn't even make sense if he was sitting if it looks like that. But I want to make sure that we move on to the more important parts here. Got the face. It's kind of more reddish in tone than the color we've got going here. We may have to tweak it. Face. And we've got I don't know what you call that, the face wrap. I'm gonna call it anyway. And of course, the hat. I'm gonna go and get all three of these layers at once because they're all fairly critical. Hat obviously has to match the brown of the vest. Let's think about first off from this angle. We're gonna get us something more cowboy-like that I'm really aiming for. Especially because it's got at least one more, well, it's not gonna look more cowboy-like with this, but it's kind of got like a bend up right in the front. Which of course isn't showing in the silhouette, so it won't actually pop that much from this angle. I'm gonna have to tweak that a little bit. We'll make this one a little more of a point. And of course, the other slight issue is that it very much covers his eyes, so I need it to be like down here probably. It's gonna make his head seem a little small. That'll be compounded, of course, by the face wrap. That I guess I have actually used just the plain white on this before, so we'll just have to do that. Have to bear with me for a minute as we go without our background. It's not quite a pure white. It's kind of rosy in this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see that with this background. That's okay. We'll work on it. It will be defining when we start actually doing colors. Oh, is that like an earring or is that hanging from his hat? Okay. Hanging from the hat. And we got a much better view of the back of the hat on this one and some of its other interesting crooks. That'll be good. Okay, we'll start with that and then so this is actually going to be kind of the back side. Again. This last one curves in more like that. Gonna keep on tweaking until we got something we're happy with. And until I remember that I'm on eraser mode. Which one will happen first? Anybody's guess. Probably finding something we're happy with, truthfully. I'm never going to remember that I'm on eraser mode. I want the darker one here as a sort of shady tone for and and we want a nice bluish black color potentially, or we could go with the purple that we've been using for sort of black tones on a lot of this, except for Thops. Let's see. Let's get something at least. Feather in there, and then I think I'm going to have to accentuate or exaggerate the width a little more. I mean, let's look at original Rogier. He's got a lot going on in there. Not not the dude with a giant jar on his head. Um, yeah, let's bring all of these out wider more. Really lean into it. That'll be more fun as a sticker and just as a drawing. Oops, I want that one actually. Actually, yeah, let's just toss that whole line. Not contributing as much as I thought it was. Okay, let's see. I ought to finish Rogier's quest, truthfully. There's a lot I need to finish in Elden Ring. I still haven't finished the game, obviously. There's so much to do in it. But, well, like, Rogier got a lot going on, but his quest sort of goes through another character at one point, who you also meet at Round Table Keep by the name of Fia, and I need to finish her quest in order to finish his. And in order to finish her quest, I have to go fight a thing I don't want to fight because it's hard. I guess one option could just go fight Moog. I ought to fight Moog at some point. I'm probably at a reasonable power to attempt it. Like I've had access to Moog's area for a long time now. I have leveled up and expanded beyond, and I don't necessarily want to progress too far on the path I'm on, or else I happen to know it will break another potential path later, which is fine, but not yet. It's fine for later on, not fine for yet. This hat's getting crazier and crazier, and just really big. And then I'm sure the face wrap's all out of alignment now. Whoops, nope. Yeah, not exactly right. Oh, let me make sure I'm on the right layer first. I'll be below the hat. Yeah, yeah. So that part of the hat's gonna need to get cleaned up. That's a little better. Once I've got the design right, we can do more in the way of cleaning. And face. Nose, and he's got a mouth. And Well, unsurprisingly, those are rather the bulk of the human face. We'll make him happy for now. He's potentially happy in game, depending on what you do. I don't think he's real thrilled in my story, but that's not entirely my fault. No, it's the cape. Let's do that part right. And let's clean up this mess. Hey, yay. As far as the cape goes, think I'll just do like a shorter, more billowy one. Gonna have to shrink Rogier down a bit. And also move him over slightly. And we can put away the Marvin base template. Its proportions were already fairly bad. Just pop it up there. Okay. There's really kind of two parts of the cape. And the other one needs to be on a different layer. It needs to be on the very back layer. Even behind the khakis. Okay, so we'll just call this cape billow. I think I'll know what that means. Knowing me. Looks a little like a bird wing, but mostly like a cape. Oh, and I think I see why the face wrap hasn't been looking the way I well, one of the reasons, anyway. Zoom in a little. Let's actually make sure that it goes all the way down and really borders the entire face. Good, yeah, not a lot going on that level. Figures that's on the hat level. Okay, face wrap, we can do a little cleanup up there. Okay, let's do colors, because usually once I block colors in, it helps us figure out proportion tweaks. Hold on. You know, not exact one-to-one, but I think this is actually going to be a better green for a few things, including the feather. So, what I'm going to do is just create a tunic seafoam recolor layer. I'm going to map it on so that I can only draw on the anything that's already been drawn on this tunic seafoam layer. And get ourselves a big old brush and just recolor the whole thing. Now we're going to have to take a little more effort. Actually, what I'm going to do is move all of the seafoam coloring onto one layer. That way it all becomes one thing. I may have to adjust it if we move limb proportions or anything, but that's okay. Because where I don't really want these is actually on the gloves and boots themselves. Oops, okay. Hide that. I can remove these and from the boots as well. Oops, I'm gonna have to actually grab them. Okay, and then we put the tunic layer. See that? Yeah, okay. Doesn't pop quite as well, but I think it works better in the context of the color set and on Rogier's set specifically. Not on the boots layer. Then I actually, that's part of the hat, isn't it? Okay, yeah. I'll make another one map to it and just do the feather recolor. Ooh, okay, feather recolor. The purple and this tone actually do go quite well together, I will say. Wouldn't be a bad color scheme for like a bathroom or something. Okay, let's see. We'll just keeping on there. Save that. It figures. Plenty of cleanup to do, but okay, this ought to really be part of the hat layer, methinks. Much as it is another thing of this color, I do still think it ought to be on the hat layer. This is actually one of the few where it makes some amount of sense to use the line tool and maybe a smaller. That'll do for now. Again, I'm just trying to get these blocked in so we can start doing the actual colors. Whoops, that ought to be in lines. What ought not to be in lines is the color fills. Woo, Rogier. This may be too muted a blue. We'll figure it out. You know, we will figure it out. This is a stage where we're definitely going to lose some detail, but hopefully we'll end up getting more. See, it figures this one out, but not that. I don't even know. Oh, I should probably hide Thops while we do this. Sorry, Thops. I'd have to ask you to leave the premises temporarily. Go ahead and color fill this, and down here too. Then I do actually want I've been kind of using the same skin tone. I need to get some variants going probably. Or invert these two colors, truthfully. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All down here is going to be a right mess. That's okay though. Clean this one up, clean that one up. Undo whatever's happening with this. Fill in the patch. Okay, Rogier has a lot going on, which we knew. I'm gonna have to just manually color fill this whole thing and then remove all the other lines off from on top of it, one after another. That's okay. There we go. And see, now we're starting to get, once we're blocking these in, it's getting better. Or at least easier for the brain to parse. It's not necessarily better, but I can at least see what's happening. We're brushing that one in. Fine. The same over here. These are definitely not final ribbons, for the record. Okay, and then now's the part where I do a lot of line cleanup, because while this is more parsable, too big. Let's fix that now. Really? Okay. Try this again. Oops. I mean, we can see what the colors alone look like, but it's not ideal. Let's actually, no, don't apply the transformation. Grab the lines too. Then we resize it all together. Do it the same as the others. I ought to draw one of these in just like a T-post shape just to like have a reference for their actual height proportions, because every single one of them has like crossed legs and bent knees. It's a little hard to tell at times. Okay, now we'll go into the line layers, and we'll start cleaning some of these awkward lines up. So that one might actually just be a color fill issue. Yep. Okay. Should have put a lot of the hat stuff on different layers, truthfully. But since it isn't, I'll just have to clean it up myself. Part of that means that on the feather recolor, I need to unrecolor this bit. Just, oops, paint it, match this one. Whoa, okay. But not all of that. Okay. Where is that little doohickey on? That's just weird. Unless it's just on the color layer. Nope, it's on one of the hat layers. Potentially face wrap? Shouldn't be. Nope. The hat? Okay, it is just hat. Thought I tried that one already. Oh well. We'll go back to the hat. We'll just, it's probably on the feather recolor though, isn't it, that I need to clean up? Yeah, okay. There we go. So that's looking cleaner. I really need is the connect vector lines for this. And then the simplify vector line. Nope, not just grab it, but actually simplify it. We got fewer points we're working with. Then we can just smooth this all out, and that's much better. Obviously, face wrap is the biggest thing we're gonna have to fix. Not gonna mess with it just yet. Almost thinking how to swap the colors. But no, probably not. Need to make it all smaller. Um, I don't know how it just ended up very big. I'm gonna undo all the line work and most of the color fills for this. And it doesn't really define his actual face shape very well either, so I need to fix that too. Like, a lot of that needs to get cleaned up. The point, let's just get a fairly sizable hard eraser, undo the colors on the face. We'll fix the hat ones, don't worry. There we go. See, hat's gonna be fine. But the face shape, my word, did I even try? Actually, I'm thinking back and I really didn't. I was so focused on like the wrap as a concept, I didn't think about the face shape itself. So let's, even if it's not visible, let's work out what it would be. And then we can make it a little more visible. Let's, it's got a fairly sharp face, truth be told. Normally we'd have like an ear somewhere back. Actually, if it's lined with the eye, it'd probably be somewhere back up here. Uh, Wallace and Gromit vibes from how wrong this is going. Not that Wallace and Gromit is wrong. I love that show, but at least did as a child. It's still good stuff. The angle of this is looking wrong, and it's giving me Wallace vibes from the wrong angle. Nobody else bothered really having much in the way of a neck, did they? Hmm. Okay, so let's lean more into the cutesy rounded face. That's sort of the style we've done up to this point, and I ought to stick with it for consistency's sake, if nothing else. And then the face wrap needs to be based much more around this shape. As does the bottom of the hat, for that matter. Obviously, now it's got to show up a lot in the background. Then the front part too, sort of got our spike up here. Got to curve pretty low otherwise. We'll do this part in the color fills, obviously. Most of the nose will not be visible, that's okay. Most of the head and face won't be either. And the wraps will pop against having more of the hat in the background will actually make that pop much better. Should have just used a bigger brush to fill. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. Oh boy, which layer is that on? Probably the seafoam, isn't it? Yeah, okay. You're gonna be persnickety about that. I can get down here. Ah, it's 9:05 already. Okay, y'all know what? I'm gonna take a 5-minute pause, regroup. We'll give a fresh look of eyes at this, and we will continue from there. But I think Rogier is starting to come together. We've got a lot of cleanup to do, obviously. And unlike some of the others, I don't have an obvious item that would go with him. Um, okay, I'll do a little more on him. Hold on. First off, every single layer that's got its business down here needs to get cleaned up. So that's the seafoam tunic stuff, the tunic gilding, that's the tunic brown, tunic saffron, gloves, boots, and so on shouldn't. But it's also, unfortunately, the cape itself. There's the darker variant still in there. I have to manually pull some of those out. That's fine. That's easy enough to do. Erase all that nonsense. Same deal with this one. Just gonna clean it up. Oh, it's on the tunic layer. Okay, there we go. The color fills, we will go in here with a much better fill. And then actually, unfortunately, kind of have to do that again because there's more. Color fills should all be good in the right places. Which means seafoam tunic. No. Oh, jeepers. No, I don't want to cut that entire layer. I need to actually extend the cape border on around a little better. Nope. Go to tunic brown, clean that up. I'll have to clean up the color on that. That's just on the saffron tunic. I need to clean that line up. Just trying to get some of the obvious ones before the break. That way, when we look at it with fresh eyes, we're actually seeing fresh stuff and not just the same old obvious, like, oh no. So that, which will be fine for what's up there. Honestly, that could stand to have a little more prominence. We'll have to give it like a gilding layer. See flam, that's how you spell that. Problem is the gilding would normally be the gold, but I think in this case it actually makes more sense to use this sort of lighter tone. Just as like, oh no, this needs to be on the, no, it is on the tunic seafoam. Just, oh, it needs to be above the recolor, presumably. Yeah, okay, there we go. Let's clean that up now that we can actually see what we're doing. I try not to use smaller pens on this one because at some point the level of detail isn't useful, but pretty much every drawing has had to break one of the rules I've set for myself, so this one's not the worst option. There we go. If we really want, we can even give it like just the tiniest bit of seafoam in the middle. You know, we don't really want to put too much detail there to draw the eye to it. We just want it to be visibly what it is. That's why I'm not trying to do the edges on all of them. I know with Thops, oh right, we hid Thops temporarily. There we go. With Thops, we did a little bit around his ribbons, which looks rough up close, but that's sort of the point, is that it's just a quick little gilded border. But I don't know that we want to do the same thing. Like, that was a key part of his otherwise low detail design. Rogier is anything but low detail. So we don't want to further complicate his detail if we can help it. Okay, face wrap. We're going for like this really light tone. All right, behind the hat, but not just invulnerable. So we got that one there, and we'll sort of continue the face wrap around. This one's better. We'll let the face wrap follow the contour of the face itself. That's fine. Okay, so then color fill for that. Got two, obviously. That for that one, and then we've got the actual skin tone for the face. Which, was that this one? No, it was the lighter one. We need the lighter one, which might be that one, actually. Amazing what context does to a color. Yep. Okay, so we'll have to, think through the features a little bit. Easiest, the obvious option is to just add a quick filter like this. Face recolor. Map it to that again, so this way it's only drawing on the lines of the layer below. And then we'll do the super light color for the face too. So actually, we want the nose to stop under the hat. The hat probably ought to react to the nose in some way. That's another day's problem. Or actually, after our break, once we take it. Just drink some water. Okay. Face lines. Let's clean up. Oh, good. Which layer is that on? Is it actually on the face wrap layer? Oh, it is. Hey, okay. We're just gonna have to grab it manually. It's all too close to get. Whoops. Get rid of some of the redundant lines. No, that one wasn't as redundant as I would have liked. Just have to, whoops. I'll have to try to clean just it up. Yeah, okay. Not done the best layer management on this one, truth be told. I feel like that's fairly obvious, though. Yeah, see, those shouldn't be on the same layer in the first place. What is that? Oh, jeepers. Oh, I just need this line to not extend so far up. There we go. And the color fills layer should be able to help with some of that, and then cleaning up the fades. Yeah, okay, actually, yeah. Nope. We'll go back to a smaller brush to clean this one up. Okay, good. That was able to clean up more than I'd expected. That face wrap, or is that on face? Which layer is this on? Ape? What? Okay, sure. And which layer, out of curiosity, are these two? Or is that just a color fills issue at this point? I don't think it is. Ah, okay, so that's going to be probably... Well, obviously it's either the tunic gilding or the other saffron layer of the tunic. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Question is, what layer is this little doodad on? Because it's just a weird color for that spot. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Let's just pull this line back a little bit. Oh, we're gonna have to give some accents to make the shoe pop. That's good. That'll actually be fun. That's on the saffron tunic layer. Oh, fine. Oh, it really is just that thing. Okay, weird. On the cape layer as well. Huh. Okay. Must have been remnants from an earlier variation. Okay, so some obvious things to clean up are obviously the blue detail lines, the ribbons down here look bad. Detail around the boots could use some work. The feet look bizarre. And then the face still needs some cleanup. But we're getting there on Rogier. Okay, hold on. Let me just see what happens if I just bring that one down a little bit more. Oh, that's not bad, actually. Then for the hat itself, I can have a little bit of fun with the line. Oop, make it look like it's actually reacting to that. There we go. There, that'll be a little more fun. We obviously just color fill that in. It's a start anyway. This may need a little texture to really make it pop. We'll see. But I think the biggest thing for the pose is going to be getting the boot defined as clear, and then maybe making this boot a little bigger. Because right now it looks like he's standing on one leg, which ain't ideal. But we will resolve that one after the break, which currently the pause stream is still there. The pause screen is still that very pixelated version of the arch. I need to do a proper export at some point. But I will leave y'all with it for just a few moments, and then we will come back. So I will see y'all on the flip side. Howdys and salutations, y'all. We are back. And let's look at this with some fresh eyes that aren't burning from tiredness. So, yeah, step one. Hmm, still some color tweaking to do probably, and a little bit of shading in the feather. The feather could use a little love. Um, Hat too, truth be told. But the area that needs it the most right now, not the weird bottom corner of the screen because I'm clicking wrong, it's the boot. Because right now it blurs together too much. So we're going to hide the color fills. And we are going to take the boot and actually looking at the reference image, I think they're visible here. No, not really. But for this one, we're going to go ahead and add some of that beige to the top. And I mean the light beige, so it'll pop a little better. What you need to do is take the boots, add another layer that's just clipped to it. I'm going to call it boot glint. We'll stick with our fairly large brush best we can. It's mainly along the top that I want this, or well, that the design really needs it, and mainly along this little rim here. So now if we look at that with color, it needs a little cleanup, but a little bit better in terms of actually popping out. And while I try not to use too many lines in this, I'm not going for a 100% lineless thing. Sometimes we just need the contrast. Although actually with this one, we really could just probably go the full line width with it. Maybe get ourselves a slightly larger brush to do that in a cleaner way. Uh, don't need to do it on the lower end so much. We can just kind of taper it. Maybe with a better brush for tapering. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we'll just have to do one more shot of that. Take this one, we'll make it a little smaller, and we'll just taper it. There we go. We'll do the same thing up there. There. So now his pose reads a lot better, although he still looks like he should be in a chair for it, which I guess he should probably, but like this one I don't worry about as much. I could a little bit if we really wanted to take some of the brown and try it, but like I don't know that we do. Especially not actually, you know what I might do is just toss this one. And then also on the color fills when they're visible, toss anything that was in that section, and that should give that a little better definition too. One thing the boots do need is fix this line up a little bit. How to fix that hotkey. I used to have a hotkey for the color picker. I seem to have updated it at some point, quite some time ago, methinks, because my workflow is sort of adapted around it. But strictly speaking, it probably shouldn't have. There we go. That's better. A little better boot flare, and then this one just I don't know. Needs to be bigger, just all around bigger. Yeah, I get it's a chibi design, but like this foot just ain't doing what it needs to do. It was throwing off the balance of the rest of the model a little bit. I mean, it's still not great. Let's oh wait, hold on. On boots, let's gear those up a little bit. Really want to curl it in. Really give it a spike. Bye. Yeah, that'll smooth that out a little bit. That one I'm actually okay with as having a little bit of a leather bump to it. Okay, so this is starting to look considerably better just with those tweaks. So I think, okay, three main things on the to-do list for the last 30 minutes here that are cleanup. One of them, I don't know, I think it'll help a fair bit. Let's finally deal with the seafoam, because it ain't doing what it ought to be doing. We can look at Rogier, however we want to say it. They're supposed to be fairly heavyweight, and you can kind of tell even in like, wow, it's amazing how much they really do match the character art with like in the game. Like that's impressive. But anywho, enough bragging about FromSoft. They won Game of the Year with it. I don't think they need anyone else to say that the game is in fact good. Um, Shocker, I know, but pretty fun. A real unpopular opinion that one. Elden Ring, it's not bad. Beauty of layers. Okay, and now that arm will even look like it's sort of resting behind the cloak a little bit, which is probably good. At the very least, it's, nestled in there. Yeah, let's round. Okay, no, hold on. Round off the edge a little bit. Some of that out. That'll be better. And then these ones. Oh my word, these ones. So bad. Okay. Was just throwing it down to get the ideas on the page because the rule that is true in both writing and art is that editing is easier than writing, and editing is easier than drawing. Sometimes just throw something on the page, even if it's kind of garbage, to get past that step because, frankly, usually when you're on that step, you can't see the whole picture or where it's going in the first place. And that's true with writing too. Like, outlining can help with this, especially in writing. And, underlaying base sketches with art, same basic principle. But even so, even with those, like sometimes you just need to get a bad outline on the paper, and then you can be like, okay, well, here's what's obviously wrong with it. Like it's easier to nitpick something that's wrong. We're good at finding that. It's harder to generate something that's new. Yeah, one color fill that needs to get fixed. Fine. Oh, and actually, holy cow, what's going on with that one? Okay. Ah, is that where that little stray dot is? Well, but that just means that the actual one is here too. Okay. There we go. Okay, so there's that. They're, obviously still not perfect. They don't read that well from a distance either. Like zooming out on this one as a sticker, you're just gonna be like, oh, okay, there's like kind of blue on it. I guess we could remove the seafoam recolor, but at this point, that's, on the one hand, it pops better. On the other hand, it's just, like, it's too bold of a color. I mean, it's true of his outfit, too. Guess we could try not limiting ourselves to these two. Now we keep this level of green, but mild it out a fair bit. Maybe that'll get us a better in-between. Okay, let's try that. Let's say that I get a big old brush and we just Yeah, that actually does look considerably better. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to. Oh, right. All those are on the same layer. These two aren't. The hat's the last. The hat, the face and hat are the last thing to clean up. I'm actually okay with these four blue dots being a slightly different one. I think it helps them pop better, and that other blue is already in the palette. Yeah, it's this still blurs together. Like this still has flaws, very much so, but they're better. Oh, is that on the color fills section? I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Ah, okay, yeah. Just bold in this section. There we go. That's the gilding. I'm gonna just sort of really make that more of what it is. Hey, yeah, yeah, Rogier. This is a complicated one. I mean, yeah, I could add more detail. Obviously, like we add more detail, we can capture this. It'll be good. But that's not really like what we want to be doing with Rogier's design. Um, I could also add a lot more detail to this piece to make it pop more, but I don't want to do that. Clean that little bit up there, and we'll be set. Whoa, okay, nope. Hands are good. Face is rough. That's yeah. Let's look at this. No, don't do that. Okay. And part of the problem is obviously we don't see all that much of it in either version. Um, and actually, hold on. Let's look at this because I suspect it's going to be rougher if we actually have the background on. No, it's not, and that's because I used the wrong darn colors. Okay. Let's try this again. Actually, hold on. Let's try this again, just doing one quick color fill change first. That's blinding and horrible. These two colors don't contrast well at all. And even if we remove the face recolor, it's actually less bad, but still not great. Um, Rogier, what are we gonna do with you? We could, okay, I do think we can size him back up a little bit now. We've dealt with some of the detail problems, we've dealt with some of the other issues. And looking at him, his head needs to be roughly the same size as the others. Height wise too, so I'm trying to make him match Kale for the most part. It look like they're having a conversation. No, don't do that. Okay. I don't know how old Rogier is. Like he sounds like a fairly young man, but this illustration he looks considerably older, or at least worn down by time and challenge. Got kind of like that going on. That kind of works. Technically, what he has going on is more like this, but I don't think that works as well. There we go. Okay. Problem is, okay, let's thinking about face wrap. Okay, yeah, no, it definitely needs those border lines. But we can probably clean a couple of them up, like mainly this one. I'm going to turn off the color fills for a second while I work on this. We'll really taper this in a fair bit more. It's such bad layer management around the head. Bring in the color fills. all of this stuff except for the lines we've just added. Then we re-add this line here, actually making it wider at the top. And now we can go to color fills and refill this in, but it's got a little more texture. Not literal texture as in, bumps and ridges and such, but in terms of like outline silhouette variance, that should help. Frankly, a little bit of the same on this side for the ear would not be amiss. I realize it's not actually super visible in the original. His ear is mostly obscured. But face needs something to define its boundaries, darn it. Okay, and then we want that hat, obviously. Well, you gotta go all Bezier on me. Those curves. No. Okay. Yep, I knew I was gonna be fading energy-wise today. I was hoping to make it a little longer than this, but we've done well. There you go. Now Rogier has a little more, I don't know, oomph to his face. It pops out a little more. We might even be able to do a color inversion on it, though I'm skeptical the lack of borders. I guess one option on the face wrap layer, just do a boundary. Something like that. Put it below the cape, that's fine. And then we could do the color invert and see how well that works. So we at least have the boundary for it. Okay, hold on. It doesn't look better or worse on the other one. Clean up a few gray. There we go. Smooth this edge out. I've been debating whether or not to smooth it or if I wanted the cape to be more distinctly separate. But I think, yeah, that looks good that way. Okay, that's that. Let's try, I guess one other thing is yet again, I want to bring the cape, or the hat rather, further down. So let's imagining there's sort of an invisible line there. And then for the hat itself, we can do just one line on the layer to make sure it's clean. This part I need to clean up a little bit. Not great. It's not working quite the way I'd hoped it would. Okay. Yeah, this one's harder to mess with because I'm not entirely sure why it's not working. I just need to figure out what about it isn't. Maybe it's that the rim really shouldn't pay that much attention to where the nose is because it's considerably further out. It'd be possible if there was just a general uptick in it around this point. But less plausible that there would be anything beyond that. Or that the nose would be visible above it. Let that one go. There we go. on the face layer itself. Do a little bit of that. Let's see. Just clean up there. 943. Okay, so we'll try the color invert. First off, how much of this is being handled by color fills? An awkwardly large amount. Face wrap ought to at least have a line here. Needs to go slightly less high than that. Okay. Then I'll add a filter layer to this, just as a placeholder. Don't want to lose what I'm working on. Okay, and then I need to add a filter layer to the face wrap itself. Oh, well, first off, hold on. The other thing we considered was, yep. Wow, okay. Line work on this, such a mess. I have been sloppy today. But that's okay, as long as we get there. You get too many of these layers going in here, just experimenting with stuff, and it gets kind of hard to follow after a bit. So wrap color alt was to have lighter color on the wrap itself, right? Yeah. Wild to me what is and isn't on the face wrap layer. Mess. Yeah, what's all that? What's all that about? Why is that on the face wrap layer? My point. Okay. No, 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 don't delete the line on face wrap. Delete it on the wrap color alternative. Just let it live down there. It's fine. Okay, and then I'm going to assume that most of the remaining issue is on either face or hat. Jeepers, what is... I don't know what layer that's on. Not sure this is going to be considerably better, but hold on. Okay. As far as color fills are concerned, then I need to... No, but this is something above the color fills layer. That's bananas. Okay. Which layer is that on? Not face. Not hat. Not cape. Not mysterious layer 3. Not face wrap. Or tunic. What layer is that on? There's just nothing colored there, but that doesn't make sense either. Something has to be blocking it. So, not gloves, it's not saffron, it's not brown, it's not gilding, it's not this one or this one. Nope. Not hat. Feather. Not face. What the heck is it? That's baffling me, and I'm a little too tired to solve it right now, truthfully. On cape? Specifically Cape Billow. That should be way down here. Why is anything up here on Cape Billow? What in the nation is going on? That that shouldn't be there at all. Okay. I'm baffled as to what's going on with that. Okay. Well, anyway, let's just go to face and fix it for now. Not ideal, mind, for that very obvious reason. This is over hat, apparently. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, yeah. I apologize, y'all. I am clearly a little out of it today. Face wrap, whichever color it happens to be, ought to at very least encompass this. That is on face. Shouldn't be. I just need the wrap color all up. Yeah, okay. Rogier, I like you as a character. Why are we having problems here? Okay, well, first off, I'd need to give the wrap a softer outer tone anyway, make this work, but I do think it may still be better. Maybe not. Let's see. I've had to do a lot of weird stuff on different layers. So if we remove the wrap color alt and we remove this one, so much cleanup. Mostly on the face layer. So we'll do that real quick. We'll just clean it up. Brand new and fresh. This wrap ought to include this, of course. And on the face itself, we'll just put a straight line there. Need to clean my monitor so I can tell a straight line from just dirt. Getting about that time. Okay, Rogier may be another one whose face we need to do some tweaking on. I mean, unless we want to really lean in. Color fills. Let's see how well this goes on face. Ominous. Why is it looking like that? I don't know why it's splotchy, but that's okay. Still not really Rogier. Well, let's see. The other thing that I want to look at before the night's out, face is what it is. It's not the best one we've done, obviously, but it works in its current state, whereas flipping around with it seems to work less well. So, not going to mess with that too much. What I do want to do, I've even got a feather recolor layer that's already primed for it. Let's see if we can't do a little bit of color matching over here. I guess I'm going to have to actually go to the color layer for this. Forgot that that's how this one was set up. Let's see. Needs a little bit of cleanup around the edges. Put that up. Of whatever's happening there. And like bulge it out a little bit. That's fun. Make it look like it really actually pops from the hat. That's good. That's a good addition. Some of the feather recolor mess. Go considerably smaller. And of course on the recolor layer, whoops, definitely got to get this one. Probably ought to get that one. And need to do it on the color fill as well. Just give that a little more texture. I think that'd be good. Does mean, as far as feather recolors goes, we can just do a little cleanup here. I don't know why we're getting some interesting. Clean that up with the color fills layer. Yeah, okay, let's just sort that out real quick. That's not what's supposed to be happening. Right, that's what I keep forgetting. I need to go into this layer. Clean that up just a tad. There we go, that's better. And we can grab like a really small one and whoops. Just fill in along here. There we go. The one thing that line does need to actually do better on this layer itself, and I can use a fine point to do this, is to actually go up and look like it's under there and not just a rounded line sitting next to it. Of course, the recolor's got to do it too. And that's better. Okay, obviously face has still has some room to go, but everything else on Rogier is actually looking pretty decent, all things considered. Definitely breaks from the color scheme more than most of the others, so we'll have to think about that. But the color scheme was never hard and fast. It was more of a oh, actually, hold on. One last tweak that will help considerably with readability here. Grab this brown, get a darker variant of it. Since we've been doing that, it's the kind of thing we may have to tweak once we actually get to the sticker stage. But let me. I can do this in the. Not ideal to have it in the feather recolor, but it is the right layer that it impacts. So we will try to get the hat looking a little bit more like it oughta. Actually, yeah, let's get this as an outline boundary. Let's just clean that up. And I assume that little bit is hopefully on the color fills layer. Yeah, okay. There we go. Let's see, on the hat layer itself, clean this line up. I don't think it's contributing all that much. Oh, jeepers. We can delete layer 3. It's not doing anything. Okay, we'll not mess with that one for now. I don't want to select the top layer. I want to select the line on the layer I'm actually on. And that's frustrating. There we go, because it's a bunch of broken lines. Then this one that needs to be redirected a little. There we go. There, we can add the feather recolor back in. Oh, gee. I don't know what that's on. Okay, hold on. How much stuff got shifted around and when did it happen? There we go. Okay. Now that's taking us pretty far back, actually. Dagnabbit. Want to be on the hat layer and able to use the vector erase to remove this line that shouldn't be here. There we go. That'll do. Not ideal, but that'll do. Okay, now once again, going to this layer. Okay, showing and unhiding it. Okay, that's not so bad. Hmm. Lazy fix, but it's what I'm going to do because we're pretty short on time at this point. There we go. Nope, we want to go back to the proper dark brown for this one. Much like Roderica's cape, having this actually be in this color is going to give it just a little bit more texture without compromising too much. And now, much better face silhouette, much better a lot of things. Pose still looks a little stiff, but that's, at this point, not messing with that. I leave that one. Just considering pulling some of these out of the, not that one, not that one. Still not that one. This little one, nope. There we go. Now that this has the much bolder hat behind it, it's less of an issue that it contrasts poorly with the background. So we can clean a lot of it up and not have that nasty, super high contrast, obvious line, which wasn't really what we wanted. So, let's see. Maybe we can always round off the back a little bit if we really wanted to, now that we have better contrast. And I need to figure out just a, whoops. Last little things real quick. Above feather recolor. Layer 3, which once again, I'm going to pass it along. What is this line? Oh, it might just be a hole in the color fill. Oh, we checked that already though. Nope, nope, it was just a hole in the color fill. Okay. Well, we're a bit officially at time. I think that actually, that last little bit did a lot to make this better. Trying not to do too much shading on these, but there's a few places where it's really just necessary in order for the shape to be red at all. So, like with Roderica's, and like with this hat. So, to that end, I think we'll wrap it here. Obviously, the face still needs some work. I think everything else is, obviously imperfect, but at a reasonable place for this stream and for this sticker, should we want to keep going with Rogier. He fits on it. His color palette fits on it. Actually, considerably, for the bright jester one, he's actually comparably darker, just because so many of the others have the red going on. Let's see. Actually, very last tweak of the night. Very last, I promise. On the hat, or actually on the feather recolor, sure, why not? We're going to get this screen, and we're going to update this gem to match it. Just because I think it's a better fit. real fine brush and just clean that little bit up. Okay, there you go. That's better. May have to consider tweaking Roderica's to match this slightly more muted one, but we'll see. As it stands, I think that actually works fairly well. I think the feather works. It's not the same as the original, but it's not bad. Hat, for the color scheme, it's good. Could the hat could go to the khaki or brown of the pants a little bit. If anything, the pants ought to be lighter and the cloak ought to be darker. There's lots of stuff to still toy with on the colors, and we can keep tweaking that onward. Maybe a little off stream, we'll see. But at the very least, I need to let y'all go because I can tell that I am gonna fall asleep at the wheel pretty soon. So I think we will be wrapping it there for tonight. Thank y'all for coming out. And for the rest of this month, we will continue with the Elden Ring stickers, making these and hopefully actually printing and making them. But a lot of that may be happening through January behind the scenes while we do some other stuff on stream. So we'll see. Yeah, the rest of this month is such a grab bag that I don't know how many characters we'll get through. We'll see if this ends up bleeding over into next month a bit. Because it has been fun, even though obviously faces have, you can see faces have been a challenge. We're gonna pick a standard one and update all the rest to it um, in a bit. But for now, this is where we're at, and we'll just keep on keeping on. So, hope to see y'all next time and see which character we do next. We got some fun ones. Until then, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it happens to be where you are.